So these are the largest animals on the farm. So they've just come in, or they've just gone out onto the pasture after being inside all winter, and so they will graze outside now for the rest of the summer. And so you can see this big boy is quite irritated that I've come over to disturb his little afternoon nap. And that particular breed you just looked at there are Charlies. These are mostly Limousin. The dark brown animals are Limousins. The animal which is almost like dappled white and blue, that's what's called a Belgian blue. And this chap against the hedge is a Limousin. So they're all very curious as to why they're being filmed, and obviously I've gone over to this chap to try and get him up so that you can have a good look at him. So you can see he's what's considered a beef animal because he's quite muscular. In fact, all of these are beef animals because. So here we got another character on the farm. This is Leafy the llama, and the reason why we call him Leafy is because he arrived with lots of leaves on his fleece, and so let's get a good look at him. Okay, I'm going to try to get up as close as I can, but he's quite cagey. And the reason why I have a llama is because he protects my sheep. And the idea is that if a dog comes into the field, the llama will put himself between the dog and the sheep. So what he does is he herds up the sheep into a corner, and then he will stand in front of them and prevent the dog from getting at the sheep. And so here we got all the different sheep. So a sheep with an orange dot will have had 2 lambs, and let me see, that's an orange dot we've just seen there. Another orange dot, so they're all ewes that have had 2 lambs. What have we got coming up here? We've got another. I'm trying to find one that's got a blue dot. One that's got a blue dot, that one there to the right, it's got a blue dot, is just had a single lamb. And so what happens is shortly before, or should I say a number of months before the ewe's lamb, we scan them. We scan all of the sheep to determine how many lambs they're going to have. And so that's really useful information because then we can change their diet accordingly. So if you've got a sheep that's going to have 3 lambs, we obviously have to feed her a lot more. Whereas if it's a single lamb, we tend not to feed that lamb or that sheep as much because the possibilities are that it might have a lamb that's too big and it can cause a problem. Okay, so how does it all begin? We're back in the lambing shed at this point, and one of the questions I was asked is, do we use a lot of medication with our animals? Well, in this particular instance, what I've got here, I've got a ram. Okay, this is the boy sheep, and what I'm doing is I'm giving him an injection because he's got a sore front foot. Because he has been quite busy. He's been mating with all of the ewes in the background of the video, and what I'm doing is I'm putting an injection into just underneath his skin, and it's a slow release injection, and it will cover him for about 4 days. And what I'm now doing is I'm just giving him a little toenail trim because he's got a sore foot. He's either got something in between his toenails and or his hoof, and what I'm doing is I'm just evening his foot off all the way around, being quite gentle, and hopefully the medication and the foot trimming that I'm doing will get him back into action, because he still at this point has to mate with some of the rest of the ewes. Okay, so I'm putting just some spray on the antibacterial spray. So what I'm drawing the attention to here is that this is a particular breed. It's called a blue Texel, and what I'm doing is he's got just between where his horns should be if he wasn't what's called a polled breed. his horns would come out. But because he's a polled breed, it means that he doesn't have any horns, which is a big advantage. That if he's in the field with another ram, he's not banging heads against each other and damaging each other if they did have horns. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just let him back up gently onto his all fours, and we'll give him a couple of weeks maybe before we put him back in with any other ewes. So what we've got here is the end of the mating process. We end up with all of these ewes that have got different markings on their back. You might have noticed when we looked at the ram a short while ago, I actually put some paste on his chest, and what he does when he mounts on the back of the ewes, that leaves a mark on their back of their on the back of the ewes, and that will tell me if it's yellow, it's the ewes that have been mated first, and green will be a week later when I've changed the colour that's on the ram's chest. That will be the ewes that were mated a week later. So what have we got, boys?
A little lamb.
Is this the first one, is it?
Yep.
Oh. So that's the first lamb of this year. Very good. Is it a boy or a girl?
A girl.
And see the way it's shaking? That's a good sign he's nice and healthy. That tells me that mum's fed him. And that's her first time lambing. She's now a hogget. Okay.